Hello friends, and thank you for joining me for this reaction video, again from The Darkest Secret. This video is called The Old Woman Who Lived with 92 Ghosts. 92 ghosts. I'm not good at math, but that's a lot of ghosts. Without further ado, let's check it out. Now, tell me, what do you see in this picture? Well, show me. I don't know. A
At
little white,
first, you can't
something there?
tell, but this is an example of the entities with which the woman that you're about to know had to live with.
Alright.
This is just the tip of the iceberg. More than a dozen photos like this one arrive in my email and serve as
Oh,
evidence for one
is
of
it
the most
this?
spectacular stories that I've received. For years, this channel has become one of the largest when it comes to presenting paranormal videos, whose probability of being real is quite
Oh,
high. That is my objective, to present cases only to analyze events that I believe are real. My email is flooded with videos that I have to review daily. However, sometimes stories also arrive, some with evidence and others without. I don't usually upload these stories since many times it's just text, without nothing real to show you.
oh, let's show us.
However, last week, that changed. One of the darkest and most interesting paranormal stories I have ever heard of came to me.
Oh, let's
And
go.
tonight, you will also have the honor of knowing it.
Thank you, Leonora. I think she's
My
called
name is Leonore Clay,
Leonora.
and this is The Darkest
Secret.
Today
Hell
we
yeah.
present the old woman who lived with 92 ghosts.
Only 92? Where's the other 8? You know, why not 100? Did she count?
The one
Does she have dementia and maybe counted the same ghost 92 times?
who tells us the
I don't know.
story is a 42-year-old man. Carlos Jara is his name. He writes to us by email telling us a terrifying scenario. His email is
Oh no.
titled
Oh
The
no.
92 Ghosts of My Nana. He begins by telling us that he was remodeling a house that he had inherited from his grandmother.
I'm just about to
His
sneeze.
Nana. An old and poorly maintained house. Almost the entire vinyl floor was moldy.
But lucky this
Several
time.
areas of the house had broken boards, so he had a lot to repair, especially since his goal was to sell it. So he decided to start with his grandmother's room, since it was the most deteriorated, with dark
That looks
patches of
terrible.
mold everywhere. They started pulling out the boards to see how bad the mold was.
Very bad.
It turns out that while they were taking out the flooring, the carpenters told him that they had found a locked trunk. It was odd and worn out. He did not have the key, and for that reason, he had to take it to a locksmith. When he was finally able to open it, he found a horrifying surprise.
Oh.
A surprise that today has explained dozens of incidences he experienced as a child. A story that I know will make you shudder. So get comfortable in your seat.
I'm so comfortable.
And if you're brave, turn off the lights.
I can't, because my viewers can see me if I turn off the lights. You know? But you guys turn off the lights.
Carlos wrote us an extensive letter that is not necessary to share with you today. There, he gives us even the smallest of detail on everything.
Please leave a like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Let's continue.
Experience that, according to him, began in his childhood. Therefore, after being consumed by a story, I decided to tell you in the correct order, from what he remembers when he was a child. You see, in order to understand the context, it is necessary to go back to the year 1993, when Carlos was 12.
I was
It
6.
turns out that as a child and part of his youth, he went to his grandmother's house every Saturday.
Mrs. Carmen Soto.
A nice, adorable old woman, a book lover. In fact, he remembers that the house had dozens of shelves full of old books, more than half of which he had no idea what they were about.
Then
A
read them.
kind lady who from time to time would go into a sour and unpleasant state of mind for no apparent reason. That is what Carlos remembers most about her. In spite of everything, he liked that house because it was big. It had 2 living rooms and many other rooms. He also tells us that as a child, he loved to play hide and seek along these old hallways. However, there were a couple of times that strange things happened to him in that house. I know that this has also happened to you, having a deep memory of something strange that you experienced and that you never forgot.
Yep.
You see, he described in great detail all the things he experienced while he stayed in that house. But here I will leave you the most interesting ones. He tells me that he doesn't know if he really lived them like that, or if his mind has changed them. He asks himself this
The
question
mind does that,
because the things
Change
he
your memories.
experienced are extremely horrifying. On one occasion, he was sleeping in one of the 2 guest rooms and woke up to go to the bathroom. On the way there, he began to hear some noises.
Oh.
The corridor where he was located led directly to the dining room. There was no light to turn on. He just stood there, paralyzed, saying that he remembers the sound of moving chairs, as if someone was relocating them and opening cabinets. He assumed it was a thief. Terror took over him, and he did nothing but take refuge in the bathroom. The next morning, he discussed this with his grandparents.
That's what I would do.
But even though they checked, everything was in place. Nothing looked like a thief had broken in, nor was it anyone present at the house at that moment. To this day, he remembers that event and assures that it was real. But he is not sure if everything happened as he remembers, since things were moving aggressively. He also remembers when he was 15, when he was in the kitchen and saw the reflection of something strange in his teacup while at a family gathering. It was like a dark reflected shadow standing right in the doorway behind him. Also during that time, he tells us that he had spent a week on vacation there with his cousins. They played and had fun, but on one occasion while he was running through one of the corridors, he began to smell something similar to a bum. That typical smell of someone who hasn't bathed in weeks and leaves a trace of aroma in the place where they passed by. That same odor was emitted there, and since they were playing hide and seek, Carlos thought it would be a good way to find the one that hadn't bathed, following its disgusting trail. Therefore, he was going to follow the aroma that was very strong. But he was led to the bathroom on the first floor, and there, once he opened the curtain to see if someone was hiding in the bathtub, he felt that someone tugged at him by the shirt.
Oh.
It was sudden, brief, but very intense.
How creepy is that?
So much so that he ended up with the nails marked on his torso. But when he turned around, no one was there.
No one there.
He is sure that it is impossible for any of his cousins to have escaped and disappeared so quickly. He says that he had taken a photo of the marks left on his torso from that grip, but he does not remember where they are. The most curious thing was that later his cousins assured him that absolutely none of them had hidden in the bathroom. Then he told me about the other 15 different experiences he had. But the last odd thing he lived through in that house
So maybe he count all the ghosts by the experience that he has. How do they know it's 92 ghosts? Come on, man.
was on one of his last visits at the age of 17. He spent the night there because they celebrated a new year. He woke up at dawn because he started to feel someone's leg in the bed. It is something normal when you sleep with someone else's leg under the sheets. He accidentally kicked that leg, and that made him wake up. He felt it with his foot, its bony heel, and it was indeed an adult leg. He doesn't know if it was a man's or a woman's, since it was very wide and large. It couldn't be any of his cousins, and that was the only possibility, because adults never slept in the rooms with them.
That's
When
just
he
creepy,
turned to
man.
see who was
What?
sleeping next to him,
There's no one there.
could you believe it? Indeed, no one was there.
That's what I said. That's my guess. That's what I guessed. You guessed it too?
The next morning, when he told the story, the family took it as a joke. His cousins assured that they had also experienced strange things, but it all remained as a simple anecdote. After that age, he no longer stayed in that house, not out of fear, because his cousins grew up. They went out with friends, with their partners, and it was
Party.
getting boring. The times he went to that house afterwards were sporadic, to say hello, but he never stayed there for more than a couple of hours, except for a cousin's birthday or something specific. It was very infrequent, and then nothing else happened. When his grandmother passed away 5 years ago, he was 37. Carlos was surprised because she left him the house as an inheritance. Among his 8 cousins, she chose him, and until now, he doesn't know why. The house was old, poorly maintained, and it smelled. Therefore, he decided to remodel it a bit to sell it. Now we come to what I told you in the intro. The moldy floorboards, and that trunk that
What's
lay
in the
open in
trunk?
front of him. Since he didn't know what it contained, he decided to wait until he got home to open it. Inside were letters, newspapers, and various notes. The truly horrifying thing was all those photos. Photos and more photos.
Photos of the ghost?
Like this.
Let's have a look. That white figure in the background there? This definitely I can see. That's weird,
Do
yeah?
you notice anything in them?
Yep, I do. Not in that last one, I think. What's that white figure in the background? What's this? And this? Oh, this doesn't fit. But this, what the
When
F,
he
man?
showed them to his mother, she told him something that his grandmother Carmen had taken to her grave. You see, when he sees the photos of the old version of the house, they brought back memories
I see
immediately.
nothing in that photo.
Because, of course, this house changed its look and architecture many times during Carmen's
Who's
life
that?
there. It was then that Carlos's mother told him something that made his blood run cold.
What the F is that, man?
She told him that when she was little, her mother Carmen would have gatherings with a group of friends. They
What?
smoked and read in different rooms of this huge
This
house.
only has one leg? And very, very skinny?
Back then, she believed that her mother had some kind of book club. At least that's what she told her. However, Carlos's mother remembers that she spent much of her childhood at her aunt's house.
Look at these photos,
since
man.
Carmen met with her friends at least twice a week,
I got the chills.
and she could not be present. She never explained why her daughter had to go, but she would anyway.
What the F, man?
Sometimes she had to spend weeks at her aunt's house without receiving a single call from her mom. This happened when Carlos's mother was between 9 and 14 years old, so she remembers it very well. She
Some
recalls
creepy
the
photos,
wax of
yeah?
the candles stuck to the cold ceramic floor. Sometimes she found used candles on shelves and on all kinds of furniture.
Hello?
They are for praying, said Carmen. But now that her daughter sees these photos, she fervently believes that the reason was something else.
Yeah.
They spent all that afternoon reading the letters that were inside the trunk. Some of them were indeed letters, but there were other papers that described 92 people who are called remnants.
Alrighty then. What?
The tall woman, said one of those papers. The tall woman is a periodic remnant, disproportionate being that usually appears with long legs.
Yeah, no shit. Very long legs.
The priest, a rare remnant. He's a being with a blurry face, bald, and wears monk-like clothes from the 1400s.
Very, very small head, yeah?
The thing,
Proportionate to the body.
very rare remnant. The thing is an amorphous being, not a person. Sometimes it appears with limbs, and sometimes it doesn't. It usually disappears with the photos,
What?
and so on.
Look at these photos, man.
Carlos tells us that each one of those 92 spectra has a complete description, not only of appearance, but also of the behavior they had in each of these.
But also photographic evidence. Look at these photos. They're so real, yeah? Like and subscribe.
sessions.
Look at the head, man. What the
Something
F
quite
is that,
shocking
man?
to reflect on while you see these images. Carlos said he spent 2 days putting the photos together with their descriptions to try to make a correlation. Apparently, there aren't photos of all 92, but there is of a large amount of them. What is going on here?
I don't know.
What was the
You tell
grandmother
me
doing
down
in
below.
those sessions with her friends? Carlos tells us that he believes, as much as it hurts him, that his grandmother was a witch. A real witch.
Not a witch. I would rather say, what are these people called? They speak to spirits and call on them and all of that.
That nice and smiling face
I'm not sure.
kept unimaginable horrors underneath.
Jeez. Scared the shit out of me, ma'am.
Our subscriber also tells me that he feels extremely terrified since he believes that all the things he experienced as a child can be associated with one of these photos. That the leg he felt in bed that night
Yep.
could belong to one of these specters. And that
Look at
thought
that head,
makes
ma'am.
his every hair stand on end. That
Wow.
time something hurt him while playing hide and seek. It was also one of these beings. His mother told him that once, when he was about 11 years old, he had a sleepover in her house. The grandmother was the only one there with them, and at one moment, she sat them all in a circle. It was night, and she sat them all in this very place. And singing, she began to throw dry herbs on top of them. Sure, they thought she was playing,
Yeah.
but who knows knows what she was really doing. Carlos also remembers that
What a
his
creepy
grandmother
grandma,
was
yeah?
insistent that he and his cousins visit her, that she almost begged their parents to bring them. And now that he thinks about it, he suspects that it was for something related to these terrifying things. This is
Oh.
without a doubt the most lurid and spectacular case that I have seen in a long time.
Yep,
What
me
do you
too.
think of this case?
I don't know.
Would you like to know the description of each of these beings?
Yeah.
I was going to incorporate them in this video, but it was too long. Express your thoughts in the comment box if you would like me to make a second video clearly covering the description.
There is
of
a
the
second
specters
video, and I will
and the other
react to it as
experiences
well.
that Carlos told me about. Has something like this happened to you in your life?
No,
If you
definitely
have
not.
any interesting paranormal story that you would like for me to know, email me, but don't forget to attach the evidence. It is with only audiovisual material that I can put together this type of video. Tell me what you thought of this case, because this video has already come to an end.
Oh
My name
no.
is Leonor Clay, and this was
The
The
darkest secret.
Secret.
What do you guys make of this? I don't know what I'm supposed to make of it. All those photographs seem pretty legit, yeah? I don't know. What? I'm always a little speechless after this video, so difficult for me to make an afterthought, you know? But comment down below in the comment section what you make of this story. And please, this finger, okay, not good. Please like and subscribe and comment down below. I would greatly appreciate it. Help me build our own little community here. And I will love you forever. Until next time, take care and stay safe.